Does this ever happen to you guys? You spend hours and hours grinding these businesses, and then at the end of the day, when you're finally ready to sell, and you try to sell your business, some stupid griefer who can't mind their own business decides to attack your cargo, and thinks it's funny to destroy your product, and they end up destroying your product, and you lose everything. All that grinding, all those hours in that day wasted for absolutely nothing, because your product got destroyed. Hi, it's the Professional here. If you played this game long enough, you probably own one of these kinds of businesses. You own an MC business, a hangar, some kind of cargo warehouse. Regardless, all of these businesses involve moving product, and you have to sell these in public lobbies. You have no choice. You can't sell these in invite-only lobbies. You can't sell these in crew lobbies or friend lobbies. You got to sell these in public lobbies, and you got no choice. And griefers love to destroy product. Even though there's practically no reward for destroying product, all you get is a measly $2,000. People still do it, and basically, whenever anybody tries to destroy product in this game, they are contributing to shark cards. Anybody who destroys product contributes directly to shark cards, because if you destroy product, that's hours and hours of wasted, hours and hours of grinding wasted, millions of dollars gone, and that player isn't going to feel like grinding again, and they are going to just go and buy a shark card. So anybody who thinks that $2,000 is a good idea to destroy cargo for, they're just stupid. But in that case that you guys saw, that was my friend who attacked me, and I told my friend to attack me. So don't think he's a troll. I told him to do that on purpose, just to show you guys an example of what can possibly happen. If you played this game long enough and you sold cargo, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've had your cargo destroyed, or at least some griefer attempted to destroy your cargo. In this video, I'm going to show you guys tips on how to avoid these griefers, how to deal with them, how to avoid them in different situations, and what to do in those situations. And if you watch this video and you follow this video, I can't promise you that your cargo is never going to get destroyed. But what I can promise you is that if you follow this guide, you are going to minimize your risk. Your risk of getting your cargo destroyed is going to be minimized as much as possible. And it's how I get away with selling in populated lobbies. And this guide is mostly focused on how to sell in populated lobbies. We're not going to be talking about solo public lobbies. Anybody can basically just go and find a solo public lobby. You just got to keep searching and searching until you find that solo public lobby. But how to sell in populated lobbies, I'm going to explain in this guide. I'm going to give you guys tips, different scenarios on what to do. And a lot of people are probably wondering also, why would you even want to sell in populated lobbies? Are you crazy? The reason that you want to sell in populated lobbies is because almost all the businesses, except the import, export, and those special crates, the unique ones that you get from the cargo warehouse, all of the other businesses, they have a 1% bonus, where you will get a 1% bonus for selling in those lobbies. And if you sell, like, for example, cocaine, that's $420,000, you'll get $4,200 per player. So it is worth selling in these populated lobbies. You can make a lot of money. And I'm going to show you guys how I do it, and how I avoid these griefers, and how I avoid them blowing up my stuff, and how I deal with them. So here we go. Let's start the guide. I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me talk anymore. I'm sure you guys just want to move on to the guide. So let's do it. Let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you sell cargo is you're going to want to go into a free aim session. And to do this, you would just have to be in single player, go to settings, go to controls, targeting mode, free aim, and then all you would need to do is just find a new session, and you would automatically be put into a free aim lobby. You can also do this by going into creator mode and then going into free aim through settings and then going back into online there. And the reason that you want to go into free aim lobbies to sell your cargo is for two reasons. The first reason is that if you're looking for generally smaller lobbies, solo public lobbies, if you're trying to find a solo public lobby, you have much more chance of finding it in a free aim lobby than you do in an auto aim lobby. A lot less people play on free aim than they do in auto aim. And number two is that people on free aim are a lot less aggressive than people on auto aim. I'm not saying that people are not going to attack you on free aim for no reason. It does happen, but people on auto aim are just much more aggressive, and they're much more likely to attack you for no reason than on free aim. Auto aim lobbies are much bigger war zones than free aim lobbies. A lot of free aim lobbies will have much higher ranked players, and on there they'll just, a lot of people will like to mind their own business. They'll say, hey, I'm doing my cargo, you do your cargo, we'll mind each other's business, and then both people do their businesses, and both people make money. It happens a lot of times. You join lobbies, people message you friendly, and you message them friendly back, and then that's it, pretty much. People still attack for no reason, but free aim lobbies, generally more friendly people, and generally more veterans of the game that understand you're not really supposed to go after cargo, because a lot of new players, they're much more likely to go after cargo, and they're on auto aim lobbies, and they think that they're really supposed to do that there's a big reward for it, but there's not really a reward for it. So going to free aim lobbies, generally more peaceful, less people play on them. It's much better to sell in free aim lobbies than in auto aim lobbies. And even if you're an auto aim player, just go into free aim lobbies when you want to sell, and then go back into auto aim if you play auto aim. Me personally, I like playing free aim regardless, but if you like playing auto aim, then play in auto aim. But when you want to sell in free aim, it's going to work a lot better for you. I'm telling you, you will notice a difference. A lot less people will go after you in free aim than auto aim. And moving on to the video, I do apologize for the length of this video, guys, but there's just so many things that I have to cover in this video, so many different scenarios with griefers. So I hope that I can cover all of them. So let's get on with the video. Let's get this thing started. So one of the earlier things that I want to talk about is how to avoid getting all of your product destroyed. And make sure you guys take a look at that number down there, the 196,000. As you can see, my counterfeit cash is full. Make sure you guys pay attention to that number, because that number is going to be important in a little bit. But basically, if you're in the likely situation where you have 3 delivery vehicles, let's say you have 3 vehicles, and let's say that 2 of your vehicles get destroyed. If 2 of your vehicles get destroyed, you don't have to worry. You don't have to panic at that point. Yes, a griefer is attacking you, but it's not the time to panic. As you guys saw earlier, I had 3 buzzards that I had to sell with. My first buzzard got destroyed by my friend there, and my second buzzard my friend is destroying right here. And as you guys are seeing, I only have 1 buzzard left. So I started out with 3, I only have 1 left. And if you guys see, it's basically 7 product. If I choose to sell all of it now, I'm not going to get that much money. I pretty much lost like 2/3 of the stock. So what I'm doing right now is I'm flying back to the counterfeit cash business. And as I'm setting my spawn location as last location. And all I need to do is find new session. And I'm fast forwarding this clip right here just to show you guys that I'm still going to be connected, and I'm going to find a new session, and I'm risking all of this. If your product gets destroyed, as long as not all of your product gets destroyed at once, if you lose, for instance, 2 vehicles, or you lose part of your cargo, not all of it, you can still get the majority of it back. All you need to do is just find new session. That's all you need to do. Find new session or close your application. Close your application on PlayStation, close your application on Xbox, or close the program on PC. I personally recommend closing application, but finding new session will work, because closing application means that I'm safe 100%. But as you guys see, I lost 2 out of 3 buzzards, and then all I did was I just found a new session, and I still got the majority of my product back. You lose a tiny bit of product when you do this, but you still get the majority of your product back. So whenever this happens, if you lose part of your product, just close your application or find a new session, and you will be able to get the majority of your product back. The only time this won't work is for import-export. Import-export you can't get back, so it won't work for import-export, so make sure you guys remember that. Everything else it'll work for. So I made a guide almost a whole year ago talking about how to sell in populated lobbies, but ever since then, there's been so many new things added to this game that can threaten your cargo. Everything ranging from deluxos to new planes to orbital cannons, you name it. There's just so many things that can destroy your cargo. So the first thing that you're going to want to do before you sell your cargo is you're going to want to take a look at the map and see who's in that lobby and what you're dealing with. So as you guys see right here, there's a few people up in Paleto Bay, but no big deal. But then I look down here, I see this guy, O Dark Star Soul, and he's in passive mode and he's red, meaning that he's killed a lot of people. And for me, that is not a good sign. So right here, we're going to take a look at his name, and we're going to see who we're dealing with exactly. Whenever you're selling in these lobbies, you want to take a look at who exactly is in that lobby and who can potentially threaten you. And we see this guy, O Dark Star Soul, rank 653, 2.82 KD, and what he's wearing doesn't look like he's friendly. This is a no-no. This is a no-no. If you typically see people like this in the lobby, I would avoid selling. He didn't end up attacking cargo in this lobby, but typically a player like that draws suspicion. So as we look to the city down here, we can see there's a lot of players in this lobby, but it's generally peaceful. Even though there's a lot of people, there's not really that many people killing each other. Usually everybody's minding their own business. There's a few people driving around the map, but for the most part, it's peaceful. So except that one guy, we got a pretty good idea of what's going on. And you are going to want to check for facilities. Take a look at your map and see if there's anybody in the facility. If there is one person in the facility, don't sell. Don't do it. And I know some people are thinking, no, nobody's going to waste $750,000 to destroy my cargo. Trust me, they will. There are plenty of people on this game that have modded money. So many people on this game that have modded money, and they don't care. They will gladly use that $750,000 to grief your cargo. And there's also people that glitch the orbital cannon. They'll glitch the orbital cannon, and they'll fire it as many times as they want. So you got to watch out for those people. There are people, literally griefers, that will sit in their facility and just literally look on the map. They see a few people in their business, and they'll just literally look at the business. And the second you get out of the business, they'll be waiting for you. They'll orbital cannon you. So you are going to want to check the map. If you see one person in the facility, I don't recommend selling at all. And especially if you see any high modded levels like rank 8,000s in their facility, that is a no-no. So if you see anybody in their facility, do not sell. I highly don't recommend selling. That is dangerous. Now, when it comes to actually delivering cargo, and let's assume that you're selling a full business and you have 3 delivery vehicles. If you have 3 delivery vehicles, do not get into any delivery vehicles until all your friends get there. And the reason that you're going to want to do that is because if you get in one delivery vehicle, in a few seconds, all those delivery vehicles will show up on the map. So if you're the first one there, like in this example at the planes, wait until the rest of your team is there and then take off. You want to get that head start because you take off, and then the other 2 planes are going to appear on the radar, and some griefer could be there and see them before they take off and destroy them. This could go for anything from helicopters to vans, anything else. If your friends are not there, do not get into these delivery vehicles until all your friends are there. And speaking of how much people you're going to need, I recommend a minimum of 4 people. 4 people minimum on these sales when you're making them, and only sell with friends. Do not sell with randoms. I repeat, do not sell with randoms. I think you guys get the idea why you don't sell with randoms. If you're on console, make sure that you invite them to a party, talk to these people, communicate with them, communicate with your friends. You are gonna want 3 people to be in charge of delivering vehicles. The 4th person you're gonna want to be on security, and the 4th person that's on security, have them either get into a Deluxo or a jet, an attack jet like a laser or a Hydra, one of the explosive cannons preferably, so that they can cover you. The reason the Deluxo is a great vehicle to cover you with is because it can hover, it can fly, and it has the best missiles in the game. The Deluxo's missiles are unique. It has the same missiles as the Ruiner and the Vigilante. Those missiles will almost never miss. They will curve around until they hit the target. The only way to avoid them is if you use cover, but other than that, they won't hit. Now, take a look at this. This guy right here, he turns around and changed his mind. At first, I didn't think he was going to attack us. Don't assume that everybody that drives towards you is out to get you, though some people might just be driving in the area, and they might not be going after you. I don't recommend engaging people unless they actually show intent to actually cause you harm. So right there, the second the guy tried to go after us, Dan got him and blew him up, and that was a real griefer he got. The guy's name was G. Bork right there, but Dan accidentally killed GTA King, and the reason he accidentally killed him was because his targeting priority was set to everyone. Make sure that your targeting priority is set to strangers, because if you have targeting priority set to everyone, you could also lock on to friends by accident, because GTA King, he wasn't in the MC, but he was protecting us, and he accidentally got killed because of it. Now, if we take a look at who was in this lobby, and we look down there, G-Bork, that's the guy who attacked us before. He was a rank 74, so he was a new player. And as we look down, there's a lot of new players. And then there's also the Gem Soldier guy. That guy is a modder that's up there. That guy actually joined a little later while we were already in the middle of the sale. But if you ever see a rank 8,000 like that in the lobby, I highly recommend you don't sell in that lobby. You don't want to be anywhere near those modders, because those modders are often griefers or cheaters either way, because they mod their levels so high. But regardless, these new players, they are a threat to you. They are a threat. They're not that much of a threat. Like, for instance, they're not going to attack you with like a jet, or they're not going to orbital cannon you because they're new players. But they do pose a threat because they're new players, and they don't understand that you're not supposed to really go after cargo. I mean, the game tells you to, but there's not really any reward for it. And these new players, they see the red icon on the map for the cargo, and they automatically assume that they gotta destroy it. And these new players, the second they see cargo, they'll just literally rush towards it without even realizing that they're not supposed to do that. So a lot of new players, they're not really that much of a threat like a higher level player. They're not going to grief you in a jet or orbital cannon you, like I said, but they could still go after you. And as you guys are going to see, another new player went after me. So if you ever encounter these new players in the lobbies are technically safe also, but they also pose a risk in a different way, because they are going to go after you because they're new to the game and they don't understand that you're really not supposed to go after cargo. Take a look at this. There was another new player that attacked us later on. If we take a look right here, we can see another player went after cargo, this guy, Alpha Bloom right here. And if we take a look right here, Alpha Bloom is a rank 16, so it's not really surprising that a rank 16 would go after cargo, because he's new to the game. He doesn't really understand that you're not really supposed to technically do that. There's not really much of a reward for it. But Dan was security, and Dan was on to him. Dan saw him coming towards the van, and he stopped him before he even got near the van. So this is why it's a good idea to have security, and security, whoever that player is that's playing security, have them keep an eye on the map, have them keep an eye on where your drops are, and things like that, and they'll protect you. It's a great idea to have one player always covering you in some kind of vehicle, like a deluxe so an oppressor, a jet, some kind of weaponized vehicle they can cover you in, you know? Now, another tip that I wanted to give you guys is when you're making deliveries with vehicles, especially that have multiple drops, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to choose a specific pattern that you want to go in. Now, if you take a look at this map, take a look up to the top left. You see there's a drop in Chumash, and then there's a drop closer to me. That's right, and more to the left center of the city, and the GPS route is telling me to go there. But I also have a drop all the way in the bottom right part of the city. The GPS is telling me to go to the left, but I'm going to choose to go to this drop instead, where I marked purple. And the reason that I'm going there instead of following the GPS route is because if I go to the left right there, get that drop, then it's going to require me to go all the way up to Chumash, where the GPS is going to tell me to go, or I'm going to have to go back to this one, and then I'm going to have to play Ring Around the Rosie and go back and forth. It's more effective if I go down here to the right, bottom right, get this one, then go back to the left, get that one, and then go up to Chumash and get the last drop. It's more effective if you do that. Do not follow the GPS route. Sometimes the GPS route is good, but make sure you always take a look at the map. Take a good look at the map before you make deliveries. You want to see exactly where you are. Remember, the GPS route will only take you to the closest drop. It won't necessarily take you to the best drop in order. So make sure you keep that in mind. And when you're doing air vehicles, you're not going to have GPS, but the same concept. Try to follow a pattern in certain drops so that you can hit it quicker and finish the mission quicker. Now, I wanted to talk about the bonus and how much you can profit from it. Notice when we sell this counterfeit cash, we are selling it for $294,000. $294,000 means that for every player in that lobby, there's a 1% bonus, meaning that we will get a total of $2,940 per player. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but if you sell it in a full lobby of 30 players, you can get a decent bonus. And take a look at this. One plane was already destroyed, and we have 12 out of 14. And this is a perfect example of why you don't fly over yachts. So whenever you have any kind of mission involving air vehicles, avoid flying over yachts and make sure you guys disable it. It's under your interaction menu, your yacht defenses, in case a friend accidentally flies over it. But take a look right here. We were supposed to get $294,000, remember, but we lost one fourth of our product, I'm sorry. So we lost 1/4, so we lost 3 out of 15. We sold a total of 12 out of 15, but if you look at the total amount up there, it's $286,000. We can pretty much round it up to $287,000. So we pretty much made up the difference. So if you're selling in a big populated lobby and a griefer destroys some of your product, as long as your product does not go below a fourth, so in this case 12 out of 15, if it goes below 12 out of 15, if it goes around to 11 out of 15, then what you're gonna want to do at that point is close your application or find a new session. But if you're still selling at 12 out of 15, try to make those drops. Try to make it so that you hit at least 12 drops, because that, as long as you're selling in a big populated lobby, the bonus that you get will make up the difference. So if you lose part of your product, still keep selling. As long as you don't go over a fourth lost, you can get the majority of it back with a bonus. So you don't have to worry if you lose a few drops, because I know some people, they'll leave after they lose like one drop. Like they'll be at a 14 out of 15, and then they'll lose one drop, and then they'll leave the session when that could have easily been made up the difference with the bonus. So if you lose a little bit of your product, just keep selling in that lobby, and the bonus should make up the difference. Here I wanted to show you guys an example of what happens when you get the full bonus amount. So take a look. We're selling cocaine for $420,000. Now we sell it, and we pretty much get the full bonus amount here. We sold all product, all 15 drops made, and we got a $96,000 bonus. I've gotten a $100,000 bonus before, $520,000, but $516,000, $520,000 is the most I've gotten. We sold this in a full populated lobby, and we got a $100,000 bonus. And the higher the cargo value, the more money you're going to get back in bonus. If you sold 111 crates, for instance, that would be $2,200,000. That would be $22,000 bonus per player in that lobby, which you could make around $600,000 extra. And when it's double money and you or more money on these businesses and you sell them in populated lobbies, you can make an even bigger bonus. So it is worth it selling in these populated lobbies, because you can even maximize profit and you can get even more money with these bonuses. And again, remember what I said, guys. As long as you make 3/4 of your drops, if you lose a fourth of your product along the way, the bonus will make up the difference. You'll basically get the regular amount, but if you make all the drops and you sell all of them, you will get a big bonus on top of that. So you can really make a good amount of money in these populated lobbies selling them. And if anybody comes after you, just find a new session or close your application. That's all you need to do. But remember, you can't do that for import-export. You cannot close your application for import-export because it won't work. Import-export, you'll lose the cars. And you shouldn't sell import-export regardless in populated lobbies, because import-export, there's no % bonus for that. So don't sell import-export in populated lobbies. I wanted to mention one final thing about the bonuses in regards to the hangars. The hangars, you still get the 1% bonus, but they work a little bit differently. Let me explain. If you choose to source one type of cargo, in this case chemicals, when you source 25 crates of the same type of cargo, you will get a bonus. I believe it's 35% at 25 crates, and then you will get up to a 70% bonus at 50 crates. So if you source 50 crates of the same cargo type, you'll get a big bonus, a bigger bonus. There'll be a 70% bonus, and that will be added up with the 1% bonus. So in this case, if we sell 50 crates of chemicals, we'll be selling them for $850,000. That's how much we got. We got a 70% bonus because we chose to source that one special type of cargo, nothing but 50 crates. If we sold it in that lobby, we would get an $8,500 bonus. But here's the catch. If you make deliveries, and let's say you have 15 drops, if you make 14 out of 15 drops for the hangar, and you miss one drop, you will not get that 70% bonus. You will lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's earlier strategy where I told you guys where if you go under a fourth product, you can still sell it. Don't apply this to the hangar because it won't work. For the hangar, make sure you make every single drop. Every single drop. You cannot miss one drop or you will lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if something goes bad, just close your application or find a new session. You'll lose 3 crates, but it's better than losing 50 crates. So for hangars, this same trick will not work. So just make sure you guys keep that in mind. And it's also the best to source narcotics, chemicals, and medical. They pay the most. Don't ever source animal materials, arts and antiques, jewelry, tobacco, and counterfeit goods. Always source narcotics, chemicals, and medical for the hangar. Now that we've covered lobbies and we've also covered the bonuses that you can get, let's talk about specific situations of what to do when you're fighting griefers. And here's a perfect example again of why to use the Deluxo. And this was my friend. He attacked because we were just showing off how the Deluxo is effective in these situations. The Deluxo is a great vehicle for covering your cargo because it can hover, fly around the map, and because its missiles are just so accurate and they're so effective, they can destroy oppressors easily. Now, I wanted to talk about specifically about the bunker and the hangar. These two businesses you can sell as either CEO or MC, and you should always sell them as a CEO. And I know some people are going to get confused because some people are going to say, but wait, you sell as you tell people to sell as MC all the time on live streams. Yes, I tell them on live streams, not when you're selling in public lobbies or randoms. When we're selling in live streams, we have 30-player lobbies full of crew members. It's a public lobby, but it's full of mostly crew members, so it's safe. When you're selling in 30-player lobbies, where the majority of people are people you don't know, you're going to want to sell as a CEO so that you can activate Ghost Organization. I don't recommend activating Ghost Organization until you feel in your gut that you need to do it. It's not a good idea to do it unless you actually need to, because then you'll be wasting money. But if you ever feel like you're threatened, if you feel I'm not sure if I should activate Ghost or not, activate it. If you ever have that doubt in your mind, should I activate it or not, just activate it just to be safe. When you activate Ghost Organization, the griefers can't see you, your cargo, or your friends on the map, the ones that are in your CEO. They can't see any of that on the map. So you have a 3-minute window to make those drops, and this can be extremely helpful for CEO crates, especially when you're selling a 111 crate warehouse. And like I said earlier, hangar and bunker, a lot of people like selling these as MCs, but if you sell them as CEOs, you can activate Ghost Organization. So I personally recommend selling those as CEOs because you can hide your cargo and you can avoid the griefers. Don't activate Ghost Organization until you get at least into the city, because then you'll have that window. You'll be already in the city and you'll have some time until you get to your drops. If you activate Ghost the second you get out of your business, when you get into the city, pretty much half your timer is already going to be gone. So activate it right when you get into the city, around that time, or when you feel threatened. That's a really good area to activate it. And as for MC businesses, I personally recommend having them in Sandy Shores because they're cheaper locations. Don't have them in the city because they're more expensive. And also, when you're selling from the city into Sandy Shores, your cargo is put a lot more risk because, like I said earlier, you're in the open. You don't have many places to hide. You don't have a lot of cover, and you can get destroyed easily by jets. Once you're in the city, the drops are actually closer to each other. The roads are paved, unlike in the desert where the roads are dirt roads. You drive down the roads faster, and you can make your drops easier. There might be a little more players in the city, but it's actually safer to sell in the city than in Sandy Shores. Now here's some tips on actually dealing with griefers if you have no choice but to engage them. Now, take a look at this. I'm in an Akula and my friend, he's in a cargo van right there. He's transporting 3 crates in that van. The second he gets out, I can't lock onto him. So keep that in mind. If you can't run away from them and you can't hide and they're gonna engage you, then what I recommend doing is try to drive that van or that cargo vehicle to a specific type of cover and then get out of it. And the reason that you want to get out of it is because once you get out, they can't lock onto you. So take a look at this, just like you saw in the Akula. I can't lock onto the van, but the second my friend gets into it, I can lock onto it. But then the second he gets out, I can't lock onto it anymore. And these griefers are going to count for these missile lock-ons to be able to destroy your product. And the second you get out of that van, that's going to really throw them off, because then they can't lock onto you and then they have to manually aim. What you want to do at that point is when you get out of the van, try your hardest to take that griefer down. Stop them, because once they realize they can't lock onto you, they're going to have a lot harder time and you're going to really throw them off then. They're not going to expect that. Now here is a likely scenario, and I thank my friend GTA King for helping me record this, but take a look at this. This is a likely scenario. You're driving your cargo vehicle and all of a sudden an oppressor comes out of nowhere, starts going after you. Like I said earlier, find some cover with that vehicle, get out, and then they can't lock onto you. You're going to really throw them off when they can't lock onto you. Then, once you get out of the vehicle, try your best to deal with them. Get rid of that griefer. And you're going to want to have 4 weapons specifically for dealing with griefers: homing launcher, proximity mines, explosive sniper, and sticky bombs. In this case, we're using homing launchers. Homing launchers to shoot down any helicopters chasing you, potential air vehicles, and especially oppressor. Homing launcher works great against oppressor. If you're getting griefed by an oppressor, use the homing launcher. When they fly around, they can still dodge it, but it can get pretty difficult for them. If somebody isn't a real expert on the oppressor, they can get blown up by the homing launcher easy. So get your cargo out of the way, get out of it. They can't lock on you. That'll really throw them off, and then try to use your homing launcher to destroy them. The second weapon that you want to use to deal with griefers is proximity mines. And what you're going to want to use proximity mines for, if a griefer starts chasing you in a land vehicle, drive down an alley. If you're anywhere near an alley, look for your closest alley, drive down it, and throw a proximity mine. The reason that you want to go down an alley is because there's no traffic, so an NPC can't detonate the mine. The mine is going to be there, and a lot of these griefers, they're so stupid that they'll actually follow you down alleys. I've killed so many griefers, so many cargo griefers doing this. If a car comes after me, I just drive right down an alley, and I just throw a proximity mine, and they're so stupid, and they follow me right down the alley, and they get blown up. In this case, this is my friend here helping me record an example of this, but I've countered griefers so many times. So if you're anywhere near an alley and somebody's coming after you, drive down that alley and just throw a proximity mine and it'll stop them. A lot of times, they're so stupid that they'll follow you down the alley and get blown up, and not every single time they're going to be going after you. Somebody just might be just generally driving in that area. If that happens to you, where they're generally driving in that area, just wait down the alley. Wait. And if they pass you, they pass you. But if they go down the alley, then they'll get blown up. So that'll signify that they're going after you. So here we have another example. I see another alley here. I'm going to throw my proximity mine down. My friend here, he's simulating what a griefer would do. He follows me right down the alley, and he gets blown up. Weapon number 3 that you want to use against griefers is sticky bombs. And the reason that you want to have sticky bombs is in case if you can't make it to an alley. If you can't make it to an alley, you have nowhere to go, then you're going to have to use a sticky bomb. And also, if they don't fall for the alley trick, then this is what you're going to want to do. What you're going to want to do is just ram them head on and just blow them up with a sticky bomb. I know some people might think I'm crazy for that, but every single delivery vehicle in this game, minus the import-export vehicles, has some armor. So any kind of vehicle that you're in, any kind of delivery vehicle, if it's a van or a truck, that vehicle has more armor than the standard version of that vehicle that you see in free mode. It can take a few explosive hits. So your vehicles, your delivery vehicles, they can take 1 explosive hit. The griefers, when they're like in a supercar, as long as they're not in an armored car ramming you, if they're in a supercar like they often are, and they try to go after you with a sticky bomb, because that's what they're probably going to have too, just ram them straight ahead. Just ram them and just throw your sticky bomb and detonate it. They won't expect you to do this. I've killed griefers a lot of times. I just turn my vehicle around and I just smash right into them and I throw a sticky bomb. This is only to be used as a last resort. Only as a last resort. If you have no other escape and there's a guy that's gaining on you in a supercar and he's really close, you don't have time to get out, ram him if he doesn't fall for the alley trick. Ram him with your vehicle, with your van, throw a sticky bomb. Do not worry about getting blown up because your vehicle can take 1 explosion. As long as they're not in an armored vehicle, they can't take an explosion and you'll be able to blow them up. Don't worry about insurance cost also, because as long as you're in a cargo sale mission and you destroyed their personal vehicles, you will not have to pay any kind of insurance costs. So don't worry about that either. Now, the fourth weapon that you want to use against griefers is the explosive sniper, so make sure you guys research that and make sure you guys carry full ammo on that thing at all times. And the reason that you want to use explosive sniper is because it's the #1 counter to jet griefers. Jet griefers are a whole nother level. Oppressor griefers, okay, they can't lock onto you, but jet griefers, they have explosive cannons, so even if you get out of the vehicle, they can just destroy you with explosive cannons. If you encounter a jet griefer and you're driving a cargo van and you happen to be in the city, if you're in the desert, you're in the countryside, you're really vulnerable at that point. If you're in the city, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into some kind of tunnel, regular car tunnel, subway tunnel, any kind of cover that you can use from this, even like an alleyway or something, car park, any kind of place that you can go where the jet can't get you. That's what the first thing that you're going to want to do when you see any of these guys coming towards you. Even if they're just flying around the general direction, just go underground, go in some kind of area of cover and just see if they happen to come next to you. If they don't come next to you, then keep making the drops. But once you're sitting down here, they can't get you. And this is the point where you're going to want to try to get rid of that griefer. And either A, they could get bored and they could fly away and do something else, or B, they're going to be persistent and they're going to keep flying around in circles, waiting until you get out of that area. If they're really persistent and they're flying around in circles and they're waiting until you get out of that area, what you're going to want to do, leave the van underground. Even other griefers, they're oftentimes they're going to be so stupid they're not going to even realize that you left the van underground. You're going to want to leave it underground, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to engage the griefer. Get out, get the explosive sniper, and try your best to shoot down that jet, or even call your friends for backup. Let them know you're getting attacked by a jet. But hide the vehicle, and then go after the jet. Use the explosive sniper. This is where it comes in handy. 2 hits from the explosive sniper, and their jets are bye-bye. Here we have an example of an actual jet griefer. This really happened a few days ago. This isn't a friend that was helping for this video. This is an actual jet griefer. And this will show why the explosive sniper is effective right here. This guy, Pink CEO, was flying around in circles. He was trying to think if he was going to attack the cargo or not. He decided to go after the cargo. I rushed over to defend my friend who was in the last truck making his last delivery. Fired a few oppressor missiles. He got distracted by them. Got hit by one. Hit him with the explosive sniper and he's down. So make sure you keep the explosive sniper handy. It's the #1 jet killer. It'll deal with those griefers easy on the ground. The final tip that I can give you guys in this video here is to use flares. And some people are wondering, flares? Why would you even want to use those? Well, take a look. Ever since the Smuggler's Run update, flares can be used to counter every single lock-on missile in the game. Take a look at my friend in the buzzard there. I fired the flare. See that? Take a look at this, again in slow motion, exact same clip. You see the missile from the buzzard coming. I fired the flare. Missile went right after the flare, and I dodged it. So if you fire these flares, when the enemy fires missiles at you from an oppressor, a buzzard, any kind of lock-on vehicle, it'll actually redirect the missiles. And as you guys see, I've actually fired the flare 2 times, and I was actually able to stop 2 missiles. Unfortunately, though, this flare trick will not work if you're fighting a vehicle that can fire missiles really rapidly, like an oppressor. An oppressor, you might be able to dodge the first missile, but if they keep rapid firing those missiles, you're not really going to be able to dodge it at that point. These flares are so good that they will even be able to dodge Deluxo missiles, which are the best missiles in the game. So you can even dodge those with the flare. So the flare trick will work on any lock-on vehicle, but remember, like I said, certain vehicles that can fire rapidly, don't try to use it against them. You might be able to dodge the first one, but the other ones, you can only fire the flare 1 at a time. And 1 flare is not going to counter 1 missile. 1 flare is only equivalent to 1 missile at a time. So a vehicle like the Buzzard, you'll be able to counter with the flares, but a vehicle like the Oppressor, you're not necessarily going to be able to counter. So I hope that this guide has helped you guys out. I hope this guide will encourage more people to sell in populated lobbies and get those bonuses. And I hope that this guide has at least taught you one new thing, maybe at least one new trick that you didn't know about. So I hope this guide has been helpful to you guys. I hope that you guys will be able to deal with these griefers easier now. Let me know any questions you have down below. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. And let me know other situations that I might have missed down in the comments below. And if you have any other questions, any other situations, I'll try my best to answer. Again, I apologize for the length of the video, but there was just so much topic and so much substance to cover in this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like if you did, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.